are assembled and they're here to ask the questions that are going to be posed by the young people, but you do have a chance to chip in as well. As you've seen, the whole thing is being filmed as part of the project. We will get a microphone with you, but I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to see with the lights on. But if you would like to chip in, make your point, particularly if we're talking about parents, I know we've got a lot of parents here, or if we're talking about employers, and there are employers here as well. Do feel it's for you to have your say tonight, as well as the young people. Right, let me introduce the panel. I've got on my right, first of all, Josh. And Josh is Josh Merritt, who's an ex-Stoke student, now a student at Suffolk New College, where he's the Vice President of the Students' Union. I actually know Josh because I'm a fellow of Suffolk New College, and the Students' Union is the department I've been assigned to, so it's very nice to have you here today. Thank you. Then it's Jessie Long, who was so good on the film. Jessie, a Year 11 student here at Stoke High. Good to have you on the panel as well. Sandra Granger is the Local Service Performance Manager at Lloyds TSB. Thank you very much for coming in. And Liz Coombs, many of you will know, Liz is Chair of Governors at Stoke High School. And then I'm sure we don't need to introduce Alan, actually. Alan Whittaker is Principal of Sixth Form College 1 and an ex-head teacher here at Stoke High. So thank you all very much. I need a round of applause, please, for our panel. Right. We have our students primed and ready for the first question. Hopefully, Sahara's got a microphone. Could we have your question, please?
Are teachers and parents putting too much pressure on us to do well in exams? How do we stop this pressure affecting our health?
So it's the pressure that's being put on young people for exams and so on. Alan, we ought to start with you on this one. Do you think there's too much pressure on young people?
I'm going to be a bit harsh and say no. Unfortunately, you do have to do well, and I think parents and teachers want their sons and daughters, the students, to do really well. I think society at large puts a lot of pressure on everybody now, and far more pressure than when I was at school. But I think if parents didn't give some kids a bit of a nudge sometimes, they perhaps wouldn't achieve what they achieve, and certainly the teachers need to too. But I think what goes with that, though, is support for students. For sons and daughters, we need to make sure that we put the pressure on. I mean, stress is part of life. To be successful and to achieve, you've got to work hard. So you need a framework in school, out of school, to relieve the stress, but you're never going to get away from it.
Wasn't it interesting that on the film, all the adults were saying that they face pressure in their jobs as well, in one form or another. So it's almost training for when you're going to be an adult. We all have pressure at every age. Josh, can I turn to you now? I mean, it's not that long since you were at school and doing exams. So do you remember it was pressured?
Yeah, I reckon it was quite pressured, actually, from all the teachers and parents at home. But it's for the best, really. It's to try to push you to get what you want to achieve, really, and the career you want to take.
So, Liz, is it too much?
Oh, sorry.
No, feel free to chip in on each other, that's fine.
No, I think you have to understand that the pressure that's put on you is always done with your own your interests at heart, your best interest, and it's to help you to achieve your best.
Jessie, you said about the fact you wish, looking back, you'd worked harder in the past and so on. So do you think the pressure's a good thing, as Alan has said?
Yeah, if I did have a little bit more pressure, I probably would have achieved more. I don't think there was enough pressure from staff at school.
They could have done more.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm expecting a groan to go up, actually, from the audience there. Oh, no, not more, not more. What about, I mean, do you think it's good training for adulthood?
I think it's absolute real training for what it's like when you are in the world of work. I've just finished doing a further exam at the age of 37, and I felt pressure, but it's part of what happens in actually staying professional throughout your working life, really.
Alan, could it not be that if a bit more pressure was put in lower down the school, it wouldn't come such a shock when the exams hit?
I suppose you could. I don't think so, actually. I actually think in the UK, because there are other countries in the world that don't get into this exam churn that we do here. We measure youngsters from about the age of about 4. Parents are obsessed with it just as much as the government, perhaps because the government tell them they should, so they follow that. And there are other countries around the world that allow youngsters to enjoy a bit more of their childhood, and they end up as really rounded individuals, and the economies in those countries are quite good. I don't think there's too much pressure. I don't think we need any more. I think the biggest thing is that when the youngster accepts responsibility. And so there is this balance between, at times, parents and teachers taking a step back and saying, you're on your own now, son, get on and do it. But it's a fine line, isn't it?
The second part of the question is about how we stop this pressure affecting our health. Do any of you have a quick tip on what you
Take
would suggest?
control.
Take control.
Take control. Accept where you are. Accept that you've got to work hard. Don't do like I did as a young lad who didn't work hard enough when I was younger. I learned, and I've had quite a good, happy, successful life to date, but I was very immature, and I blamed everybody else for things that didn't happen in my life. And it was when I actually accepted that I could take control that the pressure and the stress left me.
I thought you were going to say something like, eat more oranges and go for a walk or something, but so it's not that. That's not as
It's
simple
about a
as
balance
that.
in life. So
Yeah.
accepting you can work hard at work, on your studies, enjoy the footy with your mates in the sunshine. You know, when you're a bit older, you might enjoy going down the pub and having a pint. You can do all of those things and still work hard and have a good life.
Liz, quick tip on health.
I think it is keeping the right balance, and also try not to fill up on junk foods. I know I sound like a mum, but really, if you have a healthy diet, it really does help.
Sandra.
Have people that you can talk to. So whether that's in school, outside of school, you talked a lot about mentors, and that's something that we have in work as well, and I think they really can be your support when you need it.
Right, Jessie.
I agree with Sandra. Always having someone to talk to just helps a lot.
Josh, you're into sport, aren't you? Would you
I
say
am, yes.
sport?
I would, yes, yeah. Get on with sport. Don't just stick on that subject. Have a break, so your mind ain't really set on the exam 24/7. So.
Okay, well, hopefully that's some tips there. Anyone in the audience like to chip in at this point? Everyone's going to be terribly shy and leave it to the experts, aren't you? Yes, lovely. A microphone, please. We could run it across there. Thank you very much.
It's going to make me sound very, very old indeed, but I think that the world has changed in sort of the 25 odd years since I left school itself. And I think particularly of my brothers who all went into the building industry without any qualifications at all. And now looking at my children, where the requirements to even get on an apprenticeship are 3 to 4 GCSEs. And the sheer nature of the world having changed makes things more interesting for people, I think. Puts more demands on them and, yes, more stress.
There's more opportunities there. We've got to grab them and so on. Yeah.